Good morning. It's 3:43 a.m. of a Thursday, and today's Tony's funeral. I'm gonna try to make this my last goodbye. The last time I saw Tony was in hospital, in Concord Hospital. I got it into my head that it'd be a good idea if Tony writes and draws and journals. So I came with art supplies to the hospital, a drawing pad and a journal, and colouring in texters, I think. Old school Faber-Castell texters. See, I've been struggling with some mental health issues, and I find it hard to control my emotions. I found myself weeping when I was alone with Tony in the cafe. Candace was there, and his mother was there, and Nana was there. There was a point where they'd all gone, and it was just me and Tony. I just remember telling him just to try, just to keep trying. Don't lose hope. Just write. Stay stimulated. For me, I got it into my head that perhaps it'd be a good idea if he just draws and do that sort of stuff just to stimulate his brain, perhaps. But it wasn't the best last meeting. I think it's important to maintain your composure when you're dealing with something like that. You don't want to concern people around you, and you certainly don't want to concern Tony. And me weeping scared Tony, and I don't want to contribute to any more of his problems. So I vowed that the next time I see him, I'll be better. When I was in hospital on Tuesday, because of some mental health issues, let's say, I found out that Tony passed away. And it didn't affect me, because it hadn't really dawned on me. I hadn't really accepted it, because after all, it's just words. Right, what are words? And then the following morning, I was angry. I think I was going through the, well, I'm not too sure what it's called, but I think I was going through certain emotions that were triggered by grief and anger. Is an emotion that is far too destructive at this time, and I needed to control that. because that's the last thing that anyone needed. The last time I saw Tony, when he was better, let's say, was at my son's birthday. And he hadn't been diagnosed yet, but it was clear that something was wrong with Tony. See, I've grown up with Tony all my life. He's been my best friend forever. And I know him. And I just knew something was up because we have a rat-a-tat, right? Um, we sort of give and take. We have this dynamic where we feed off each other and we laugh and we, you know, we riff off each other. That's how we talk. That's how friends that have known each other all their lives talk. And he wasn't giving it back to me at my son's birthday. When was that? September 2022? Yeah. Was it February? It was 2 years ago. Yeah. I didn't really know what to make of it at the time, but it was really odd because Tony was distant, more distant than usual, and he wasn't talking, as much as he normally does. It's really disconcerting, but I didn't really think much of it at the time. I had so much on that day. When I found out that what was happening to Tony was actually quite serious and life-threatening, I think I was really upset. When stuff like that happens, and it's so unfair, you want to fix it. I want to fix it. I wanted to fix it. And I wanted to understand what it was that caused it. But what's done is done. I spent so long being angry at David for cancelling the Toke picnic last year. Because I convinced myself that by then I would have known for sure. And I could have helped him. But I was just emotional. Nothing could have helped Tony. It was one of those things. And that's just it. It's as simple as that. Things happen sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. the morning after I found out about Tony's passing, I was angry at everyone. And it took me a very long time to come to terms with the fact that it's no one's fault. Right? No one's fault. So angry at myself for letting that happen. I was so angry at everyone for letting that happen. But it's no one's fault. It's no one's fault. Things just happen. The best that we can do is do our best. Not be consumed by the grief. To not be consumed by the anger and the hurt. That sometimes someone's journey is a little bit shorter than yours, but at the end of the day, we're all headed to the same place. I don't say bye, Tony. I was practicing saying that. Maybe it'll help me, but I stopped saying that. And I just say, see you later. That seems easier and fitting, right? Because where the heck am I going? You know? Right? We're all headed to the same place. Tony's just a little bit exuberant. He wanted to get there a bit quicker. Oh, that's a joke. I hope that doesn't sound like what it sounded like. The last time I saw Tony, and he was Tony, was at Saeed's Bucks. And the highlight of Saeed's Bucks was Tony for me. We hung out while we waited for the topless waitresses to come. We were bored, so we went to a bar in town and chatted. he told me that he wanted to move to America, to California, and that he was going to quit his job. Tony loved to travel. Um, he went to America a few times. Oh gosh, whenever I think of Tony in America, I think of him driving down Route 66, I think it is, to Las Vegas in a Mustang. He's so cool. You know, he went on his own. Of course he went on his own. He doesn't need anyone. He's a self-starter. Tony's like a rock. My God. He's just always there for you. Man. Tony exemplified the best version of being a toke. And a Maronite. So strong and giving. Kind. So smart. So much smarter than me. He's loyal. He's reliable. He loved kids. He loved all his nieces and nephews. He adored his nieces and nephews. He had so much love to give. And you know that love's still there. You know, the question is, what do you do with that love? The kind of love that Tony had for his nieces and nephews. The kind of love that he had for me, and for his brothers, and for his sisters. I love Tony so much. And I didn't tell him that enough when he was alive. And I think that is the real tragedy. For the past few days, I've just been repeating how much I love him. It's sad. It's sad that you only think to do that when it's too late. But there's a lesson there. You know, and I'm not going to let Tony pass and not learn. Because there's a lesson there in what happened to Tony. And I think for everyone, there's a different lesson. But appreciation is a big one. Understanding that perhaps we didn't appreciate him, and he didn't appreciate us as much as he fully could. And It's not a bad thing, by the way. It's kind of awesome that he had more to give, and we all have more to give. Perhaps we should give more while we're alive. Give more love, give more compassion, more understanding, more empathy, more patience. Tony had all those things. He was the best that our community had to offer. And no one knew. No one knew. Not as many people knew. So I hope that in his passing, people can bear that in mind. Love a little bit more. Maybe understand that, or bear in mind that some people might need some support. I think of Tony going through COVID alone and then coming out the other end, kind of affected, you know? It wasn't easy on any of us, but we shouldn't let the issues of the past sort of affect us now. Tony was amazing, and I'm gonna miss him, but I'll always remember him. He's still in my heart. I can't get him out. I love him so much. That's the thing. He's there, and the pain is there, and I have to process it, because if I don't, it's gonna eat me up inside. What happened to Tony is hard to bear for so many of us, but we have to bear it. So process it. Take it all in. Understand what it is. Process through the destructive emotions, the guilt, the hate, the hurt, until you get to love and acceptance. There's something really nice once you get to that stage. You're just at peace. You could think of Tony clearly, the way that he was, not the way that you wanted him to be or the way that you think it should have been, but just the way that it is. Divorced from any emotion. And what Tony is the most beautiful person in the world. Best person I know, that I've ever known. He won't be forgotten. There'll be a legacy built around his memory, because there's a lot to learn from his passing. And since I'm at acceptance, and I've already sort of had my little tearjerker moment, I'm going to need Tony to do me a favor, right? Since he always does. Alright, so since he's up in heaven now, doing nothing as normal, as usual, I need him to take care of all of his nieces and nephews. Alright? And I need him to send a little bit of love over Europe way for Yara and her kids. Martroli and her kids. See, I'm going through the list of people that won't be in many people's prayers because they'll probably want to bless, his mum and dad. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe. But they're already going to be blessed out. So I want to, yeah, get some not very often mentioned people. Um, Bless my dad. Yeah, he needs it, Tony. Oh gosh, a little bit of Tony love. If my dad takes him, like, has the same disposition as Tony, my dad will be like a millionaire within like 5 years. For gosh sakes, calm, collected, empathetic, loyal, loving. Like, those are the traits. Yeah, Tony, could you do me a favor and sort my dad out, please? He hasn't listened to me. God, I love you, Tony. I feel that you're there still, but I think that's just hopeful thinking. It's acceptance, but, I love you. Oh, your brother, Halim, um, give him some extra blessings, yeah? He's going to take this a lot harder than others. Don't let that eat at him, okay? Ooh, yeah, I'm getting a newborn soon, so I'll think of you. You know, that's kind of fitting, isn't it, Tony? I'm gonna have another baby soon. And ain't that just the way? One bows out, and then one comes back on stage. Ooh, one bows out, and then one comes, one exits, one enters. It's a nice thought, isn't it? I love you, Tony. All right. Love you.